in the countryside here is where we're starting, but today's ride going to take us down there and into the city. So we're heading through a busy place now called Danacoid Road. And then what is nice about Cardiff, you have lots of these parks where you can just pull off the beaten track and cut a lot of the busy stuff out with these city parks. We come through the little parks, bring us to a lovely boating lake, and just down the bottom there's a lighthouse, and we'll see the lighthouse now. And it was named after Captain Scott, who sailed from here in 1913 from Cardiff. And there's the old Glamorganshire Canal running alongside it then, and there's a place you can have a cup of tea. And then we come into the park. So just come across this, didn't know this was here. Looks like it's an outdoor cinema. So unfortunately the drone was too close to the Leckwith cricket grounds, so I have to do this to give you an idea of what we're looking at here. So we've come out to the park there. There's a city centre in the distance, and here is the rugby grounds. Now just in the distance you might notice there's an old water tower. Well, there's a central station, and there's a water tower from the days of steam. I would point to it, but I might end up falling on my bike, off my bike. But next to it then, that glass building, and the one next to it is the new BBC. So just over there is a very famous in Wales brewery, Brains Brewery. They're a really lovely place it was, but sadly it was bought up by one of the big companies recently. They also owned Coffee Number One. They were bought up by one of the bigger companies, and the brewery's gone. It's nice to see they've kept the building though. By the look of it, they're modernising it and turning it into flats. See some people there kayaking in the river. So we followed this trail and we're now coming down into the bay. So what we got here is one of Cardiff's water taxis. Takes you from the bay and takes you then up to where we were at the castle grounds. So what a difference in noise now. There's a city. We've come along the edge of those buildings to the left, alongside the Taff trail, the mountains in the distance. Now we're on the flyover to Cardiff Bay, and you can see Somerset as well in the distance. So we're just entering Cardiff Bay now. What used to be the old Docklands, or even in the past known as Tiger Bay. Here's a pierhead building, which is quite well known around this area. the old Norwegian chapel. So there's a bay in the distance, but we just come across here and noticed what looks like an old naval ship. And then down at Pier Head there's all a big marina there. There's a good restaurant there. Good food, quite expensive. And the old custom house there that is now closed. Sadly. But for sale if anyone wants to buy it. Do it up. So I came down, this is Cardiff Bay, the beach right by there, you'll see the barrage there. Got the drone up to have a look at that ship that we saw going out. But we've come along the path to a park that takes you down to the bay where you can get a nice coffee. Bit of a shame to see these nice old Victorian buildings going. They're going to pull down that one now and started to pull down this one, but this one has been boarded up for a long time because right down there is the pier, so it's a sought after area here. So just entering onto the pier now. Not a bad place to stop for a coffee. We've come to the pier here. It looks a bit overcast, but it's still really warm, so just a nice place to stop and look over the water. Out of Penarth, heading towards Dinas Powis, and we found this track running alongside. There used to be an old railway here. We're now back on the road, coming out of the village of Landdock, and there's Cardiff in the distance. We're heading down here, through the woods, down the hill and home. So we're now coming out of Landdock into Leckwith, and then this is a really old area. There's some beautiful photos of in the past what the areas used to look like. We have an old abandoned house there, sadly, look at that. With the old church now, which is converted into a nice house there. But this road of Leckwith then takes us down to where Cardiff City Stadium is and down into the city centre. And so here's a big old hill. As you can see, people pushing their bikes rather than cycling them up here. But at least you get some speed up.